بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to welcome all of you guys for a new session of Quran analysis, and we are continuing with our study of Surah Al-Hadid. We had done we had started a week before last on Ayah 7 to 9. And we didn't manage to finish the Nahw and the Sarf of it. So we'll continue from there, and as we move forward to the next ayat and stop wherever the time ends, we will stop there. And I just want to maybe briefly explain to those who are joining us for the first time in this particular session how this session works. So in our study of Surah Al-Hadid, we look at the Nahw and the Sarf of the ayat in order for us to understand how the ayat are connected, how the words are connected, in order for us to understand the meanings and maybe even extract deeper meanings and gems from the grammatical aspect of it, from the Nahw aspect of it, and from the Sarf aspect of it. Because certain families in the Sarf have certain implications, have certain meanings that they bring about. So once we understand the Nahw and the Sarf of it, now we can go into reading tafsir or maybe getting the real meaning. I will do that. And then we can have an explanation session where we go now through the meanings and we can do tadabbur on this ayat based on the understanding that we have acquired from the Nahw, from the Sarf, and if you can manage also reading tafsir. So that's basically what we are going to do here today. Just going through the Nahw, the Sarf, and next week we tackle explanation. So we do 1 week, we do Nahw and Sarf. The second week, we do explanation. When the Nahw and Sarf is over, because the Nahw and Sarf moves very quickly, then we just focus on explanation. And at the end of all sessions, we do like a thematic analysis where we see how it all comes together and the ring structure, if you're familiar with that notion, and how the Quran is structured in such a symmetrical, beautiful way. And we will uncover that all the way at the end when we finish everything all together. So that's basically the introduction. So normally I invite people to participate if they want to participate for this session, just to do the Sarf, the Nahw and Sarf. So if there's anybody who wants to participate, please let me know. If there's nobody, no problem, I can do it by myself just to take you guys through what is happening in this ayah. So if there's somebody, you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself and we can do it together as we go on. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to. Okay, no worries. So I'm just going to finish this ayah that we had studied, ayah number 9. So we stopped at, you can see the red markings, that's where I normally write. So we stopped at min al-dhulumat ila an-nur. So we're going to just finish this ayah off, and then we'll do the sarf, and then move on to the next set of ayat. So Allah says, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُمْ لَرَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. So we know wow here can be wow isti'nafiyya, could be wow ataf. So wow has a different roles. So depending on how it is linked back to the previous sentence. If it's a new sentence, then it will be wow isti'nafiyya. If it is connected to the previous sentence, then it will be wow harf ataf. Okay. So and then we have inna. Inna, we know that it is harf nasib. It is one of those huruf that makes the isim mansub, right? And then together they can form the mubtada. So inna and its isim is how we will do the i'rab of this. And the way we learned in bayina is that, sorry, type this in Arabic, is that this becomes our mubtada. I'm just gonna again simplify this notion, not to get into too much grammatical context. I know that properly this would be inna, and lafdul jalala will be its ism mansub ala al-fath. I know all that. So maybe some of you are advanced in that sense, but we're doing this from, first of all, the lens of how we studied in Bayina, how Ustad Nu'man Ali Khan taught us. So that's how we are looking at it. And we are also just simplifying it just so that we can understand the basic i'rab of it. So just again, at the back of your mind, keep that in mind. So inna and its ism, that's going to be our mubtada. Bikum, ba harf jar. Kum is attached pronoun and it's attached to a harf jar. So this is going to be jar majroor. And this jar majroor is going to be muta'alliqani. and it's going to be متعلقان to the khabar, which is mahdhuf, right? Sorry, which comes later, basically, which comes later. So this متعلق, this bikum is متعلقان مقدم. It came before the khabar, right? And then la, so this la is a particular kind of la, and it's called lam al-muzahlaqa. Lam al-muzahlaqa. Maybe I'm just going to write muzahlaqa because of space. Might not be enough. So this kind of lam, what role does it do? Now, lam, it's a type of lam al-tawkid. What is the purpose of lam al-tawkid? To add emphasis, okay? So whenever you have a jumla ismiya with inna at the beginning, which also inna, we know inna is for emphasis. We normally translate it as certainly, or definitely, or for sure, or no doubt, you know, these kinds of tawkid. So inna is already for emphasis, and inna comes with the mubtada at the beginning of the sentence. So how do you add more emphasis on the mubtada when there's already emphasis inna? So what the grammarians or the Arabs decided, instead of adding, you cannot have wa inna lallaha. That's wrong. You cannot have two emphases at the beginning like that. But since you want to add extra emphasis, you feel like inna is not enough. So this lam is essentially lam al-ibtida, is essentially lam that comes at the beginning of a sentence. It's essentially the lam at-tawkid that comes with a mubtada. But because there's already inna there, lam cannot exist with inna. So what happens is that it did what we call sliding. Muzahlaqa means the thing that was slid. Okay, so the lam slided. It slided to the khabar. So it's adding emphasis to the khabar, but in fact it is lam al-ibtida, and it's supposed to be adding emphasis to the mubtada, right? So that is why it's called lam al-muzahlaqa, and it always comes with a jumla ismiya starting with inna. So whenever you have inna at the beginning and lam, inna allaha la ra'ufu, inna al-walada la ya'ti, or la atin, right? If you have had such kind of, not la ya'ti because it doesn't come like with an ism, la atin. If you have a sentence like that, then that lam is called lam al-muzahlaqa, and it's a lam of emphasis. So you can see already here, there's emphasis with inna, certainly. There's emphasis with the fact that bikum is not emphasis, but takhsis. There's specialness being created here with bikum. Inna Allah bikum, especially for you guys. So there's that meaning of takhsis that comes there, because bikum is muqaddam, and then you have another emphasis with lam. So inna Allah bikum la ra'ufur rahim. So you can see the number of emphasis that is being created just in the way the sentence is structured. The simple way of saying this is Allah ra'uf bikum. That will be like basic level. Then you take it a step further, inna Allah ra'ufun bikum or rahimun bikum. And then you take it a step further, inna Allah la ra'ufun bikum. Then you take another step further, inna Allah bikum la ra'uf. So this is like the extreme form of how you can form this sentence, right? And then you have ra'uf. So ra'uf is one of the names of Allah, and whenever we have the names of Allah coming in a sentence, some grammarians will describe this as sifa 1 and sifa 2, but we learned that it is better to do it as khabar. So this will be khabar 1. So inna Allah, khabar of inna. Indeed, Allah is especially with you, most ra'uf, right? Or most, again, ra'uf is one of those words that is very difficult to translate, as we shall see in the explanation, because it is basically extreme mercy. It's extreme rahmah, not extreme mercy, but extreme rahmah. And also rahmah, when you translate it as mercy, it's not enough. Like mercy and rahmah, mercy is one part of rahmah. Like rahmah is much bigger than just mercy, right? So, and then ra'uf is much bigger than rahmah. So there's just layers upon layers happening in this ayah, as we shall discuss when we are tackling the explanation of this. And of course, rahimun, like we said, is going to be khabar number 2. So you have khabar number 1 and khabar number 2, and that will be the final i'rab of that particular section. Any questions so far? or clarification needed there? Okay, and again, feel free, guys, to just jump in and let me know. Don't be left behind. If there's anything you didn't understand, just interrupt me, and I will try to explain to the best of my ability. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to the Sarf, and I try to remove some of the words here so that we can be able to just refresh our Sarf, because Sarf is one of those things, if you don't practice, you lose it. Okay, you lose the Sarf of it. So that's why I included this part in our studies, so that we can also, as we're practicing grammar, we are practicing Sarf, we are practicing Tadabbur all at the same time. We're bringing whatever studies, if you are being a student, and I believe most of you are, then if you don't practice with what you learned, then you lose it. So if you don't use it, you lose it, as they say. And that's why we have this section here. And again, if there's anybody who wants to participate alongside with me, feel free. You can just unmute your microphone or raise your hand, and we can do this together. All right. So let's start the Sarf. So we have the verb aminu. Aminu, the jidr is Hamza, Mim, and Nun. So which family is this? Amana yu'minu imanan. So this will be family number 4, and the sigha aminu. This is the form is amr. So Allah is commanding us aminu, believe, right? Okay. So now we're going to do the Sarf Saghir in a very simplistic way. We won't go all the way to the end because it can get very long. This is amana yu'minu iman فهو مؤمن. And then, of course, if you do the entire Sarf Saghir, and I urge you to do this on your own because of limited time, I cannot go through the entire Sarf Saghir and the entire Sarf Kabir of all these words. So maybe after this recording or after this session, you can sit with yourself and just practice these words. آمن يؤمن إيمانا, and then the passive line أؤمن يؤمن إيمانا فهو مؤمن الأمر منه آمن والنهي عنه لا تؤمن, so on and so forth, right? So here الأمر منه آمن is what we have in this section here. So آمن, and in the Quran you can see it's not written with a mad, so it's written like this. So the Hamza and the Alif together like that. That's why it's like that, but it's the same thing, right? So you can write it with a mad like this, but in the Quran, this is how it will always be written, if you've noticed. Yeah, so Amin. So now that we have found the word in the Sarf Saghir, now we're going to do, we will do the Sarf Kabir of that same word. Okay, so Amin is the word. So Amin, huwa Amin, huma آمنا هم أنتم, sorry, أنت آمن, أنتما آمنا, أنتم آمنوا, and that's the one we're looking for. So once we found it, I'm just going to highlight that, and that's the word, and that's how you do the Sarf. And what does it mean? It means y'all believe, right? You all believe. Then we have وأنفقوا, واو حرف عطف. So we're not going to do the Sarf of that because it's not an ism, it's a harf. Then you have أنفقوا. How does that sound like? أسلموا. So again, this is how you make the connections. The word that you memorize from that particular family, you just try to match it with whatever you memorized. So you have أسلموا, أنفقوا. Oh, I see. This is, so it's going to be Aslama family again. So this is نفقة, family 4. أنفقوا, أسلموا, أسلم, أسلموا. So this is going to be, you see, that's kind of like how the way you just play words in your mind to get to the correct family. So this is going to be ماضي because it's أسلم. أنفق. Oh, sorry, أمر. Again, أنفقوا. What am I saying? I think the electricity sort of, because we just did it like آمنوا, أنفقوا. It really destabilized me a little bit, but alhamdulillah. Anyway, so the same thing that we just did. So أنفق, ينفق, إنفاق, فهو منفق, right? Like Muslimun. And then you do all the way to الأمر منه أنفق. Of course with a kasra, because أسلم family, same thing here. And now that we found أنفق, so أنت أنفق, أنتما أنفقا, أنتم أنفقوا, right? And there it is, أنفقوا. And what does it mean? It means y'all spend. Again, the maf'ul bihi is not mentioned. Spend what? Spend your money, spend your time. It does not mention, which is very important, because why? It's left open, and we will discuss this in the explanation. And again, you see the Aslama family, it's muta'addi. We talked about this. Again, this is why we do sarf, so that we understand how the words work in Arabic. When it is muta'addi, what does that mean? It means that there's a maf'ul bihi. So nafaqa would be to spend. Anfaqa, to spend on someone or on something. So you're spending on something or on someone, right? So that would be the implication there. You're spending something on someone. Or amina is to be safe, right? To be safe. But amana is to believe. Believe in something. Right? Then you have ja'ala. This is a pretty easy one. So ja'ala, ja'ala, and it's family one. But which kind of family? Ja'ala yaj'alu. So fataha family. Ja'ala, it's maadi. Ja'ala yaj'alu. So we're just going to type maadi there. And then ja'ala, ja'alakum. So we'll do the sarf saghir. So ja'ala yaj'alu, جعل, فهو جاعل. And of course, this is the word that we are going to look at when it comes to Sarf Kabir. So جعل, then both of you, جعل, جعلوا. And of course, this is the one, جعل is pretty much the one. It doesn't change, but it's just, there's an attached pronoun, kum. جعل, to make. So he made you, right? جعلكم, he made you. Then you have mustakhlafina. Mustakhlafina. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of a word is that? Mustakhlaf. So if I made it huwa version, it would be mustakhlaf. Okay. So it sounds like mustaghfar. So now I know it is ism maf'ul from the istaghfara family, from family 10. So the jither would be kha, lafa. And of course we said this is family 10. And mustakhlaf, ism maf'ul. It's not mustakhlif. If it was mustakhlif, then it is ism fa'il. But because it's mustakhlaf, then ism maf'ul. Right? Ja'ala yaj'alu. I'm not so sure now. Let me just check. Did I write the right thing? Or ja'al. I think it is. Unless I will confirm that. So it was ja'ala. But now I'm doubting myself, to be honest. Because it doesn't sound right, does it? Ja'ala. I'm going to check real quickly. Or if somebody can do that, please do as we continue because of time. Archie, if you can be a darling and just check so we can confirm. You can go to Al-Ma'ani or any. All right, thank you. All right, so khalafa, you take it to istaghfara, it becomes istakhlafa yastakhlifu istikhlaf, فهو mustakhlif, and then in the passive line, that's where we'll get the isim maf'ul. So استخلف يستخلف استخلاف فهو مستخلف, and then of course استخلف يستخلف استخلاف فهو مستخلف. This is the one that we're looking for, right? And now it is not the singular version. It is mustakhlaf. If it is two, it will be mustakhlafani. If it was plural, it will be mustakhlafuna, like muslimuna, like una ending, right? But it is not una ending, it is ina ending, which means it is either nasab or jar, right? So it will be mustakhlafina. And in this case, because it's a hal, it's going to be nasab, right? And this is the one that we're looking for in this particular sense. And mustakhlafina, what it means is, I'm just going to say caretakers here, but even though that's not the right, or you can say, how I don't know how the translators translate this part, because it's not an easy word to translate. Let me see what I translated it as. The ones made to be successors. Okay, so yeah, you see, it's not an easy translation. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Or we can just say successors to make it easy, right? So the ones who succeed, not in a sense of success, not in a sense of winning or, succeeding, but in a sense of coming after, right? So that's what it means to succeed something, to come after somebody. That's what successes or mustakhlaf means there. Okay. Ja'lan, yeah. Thank you, Aqib. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Ja'lan. So yeah, ja'ala, yaj'alu, ja'al. Even though I
Yeah,
was,
it's in the island.
okay. It's because I don't think the master is used.
Sometimes it's in the island. I don't know somewhere I heard.
Which one?
Yeah.
Ja'al.
Sometimes it's in the island. Yeah.
I've never heard of
I heard
ja'lan.
it. I don't know. But it's
Huh.
showing here the island.
Yeah. But again, with family one, they could have like so many different masadirs. So again, masadir, that's plural. I don't have to add s at the end. So this is the problem I have with switching between English and Arabic. I tend to like merge them and then it doesn't make sense. But anyway, alhamdulillah. So yeah, anyway, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Family one has a number of masadir. So that's probably why. Anyway, let's continue. So you have kabir. Kabir, uh, so this will be kaf, bara, and this is family one. And this is going to be karuma family. Kabura yakburu, right? So, صيغة. This is صفة. اسم صفة مشبهة بالفعل. So that would be the بالفاعل. So that will be the صيغة. It's an اسم صفة, like we learned in Baina or in other places. They call it صفة مشبهة. It's the same thing. And this would be كبر يكبر. كبر يكبر is the masdar of جعل used in the Quran. I am not sure, to be honest. Maybe it is. That's something I would have to check. I'm not so sure. Kabr. Is it kabr or kibr or kubr? I'm also not sure the masdar of kabura. Because this masadir of family one, you just have to memorize. And sometimes your memory fails, like it is failing me right now. So I am not so sure is it kabr or is it kubr or kibar?
It's showing Tiburun.
Kibar. Yeah, that sounds
Yes.
more accurate actually. Kibar. Yeah. So kibar فهو كبر يكبر كبر فهو كبير. Again, remember with كرم يكرم family,
It
there's
is
no اسم فاعل.
actually, can I talk?
Yes, please.
It's kabur alikburu kabran. It is
كبرا.
rubber on kabran. Yeah.
So again, yeah, you see, it could be both of this. So family one has several masadir. So I'm not so sure. Like it could be kibar or kabran. Yeah. So memorize this stuff. It's important to know the masdar. Anyway, So فهو
If you
كبير
take
and
its masdar as a kibran, then it
uh-huh.
belongs to bab samia.
أو كبير يكبر.
Kabira yakbar, kibran. And
I
it's
see.
karuma, then kabura yakburu, kabran.
Yeah, that could be accurate. Yes. Yeah, and of course there's different elements, there's different meanings to kabura and kabira. One means to grow old or to become big, and one means to become. So one is to increase
And
and
sorry to
arrogant.
interrupt. One more thing.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Here Kabir belongs to bab samia. It is some sifa of bab samia, not from karuma.
Not karuma.
Yeah.
Kabira would be to be big or to increase in size or to be arrogant. Like what would be the meaning? Do you know? Because I'm not so sure again. Now I'm confused. This is something I need to confirm. If it's sami'a or karuma. Big.
Here, the meaning is big, I guess, because most of the meaning about Jurong Kabir, the
Yeah.
great about.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Sami'a family is actually making sense, yes, in that sense. To be big, because Kabura would be to be arrogant, I assume. Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much for that clarification. See, I need that kind of participation. Please feel free to interject and let me know. I appreciate that so much. All right, and now that we found the Isim Sifa, so I'm not going to do the Sarf Kabir of that. We're just going to leave it as that. And of course, it means great or big. Or, yeah, those are the meanings. يدعوكم. So we have da'a. So da'a. Well, those are the rule letters. Da'a yad'u. We memorize this in our Bayna studies. So it should be embedded in your brain. And this is going to be family one. Family one, nasara. Da'a yad'u. And yad'u is the mudara, right? And the Sarf Kabir would be, so a Sarf Saghir, sorry. da'a يدعو دعاء أو دعوة, both of them are correct. فهو داعي, right? And يدعو, this is what we are looking for. So يدعو, يدعواني for هما, and then يدعون for أنتم, for whom, sorry. And this is the one we're looking for. To invite, to call. So يدعوكم, he invites you all. He calls you. Or invites you. Okay. Then we have akhadha. So it's pretty clear. So this is hamza, fa, and dal. Family one, akhadha, ya'khudhu, right? So family one nasar. And this is the madi. Akhadha, ya'khudhu, akhadhan. فهو آخذ. Again, just how the mahmuz behaves when it meets a hamza, right? So this will be it. أخذ, أخذا, فهما, أخذوا. And you can continue at your own time just to do the Sarf of these words. أخذ means he took. ميثاقكم. ميثاق is واو, ثاء, and قاف. So from وثق يثق, to trust, right? And so this is going to be family one. This is ضرب, وثق يثق. And ميثاق is actually a masdar mimi. I think I have mentioned this concept before, just briefly as we are discussing, but just to remind you guys, masdar mimi is a kind of masdar that comes in the pattern مفعل أو مفعل, and it's just a tool that poets use particularly just to make it rhyme. So sometimes they couldn't find words that properly rhyme for their purposes, so they created what we call masdar mimi. And so that's the purpose. It's just another masdar. It doesn't have any other purpose other than that. It's, yeah, and it comes in the pattern mif'al or maf'al. And in this case, it comes as the meaning of maf'ul bihi. So the thing that you took trust on, like the mithaq would be the covenant or the pledge. I think pledge is a much easier English to understand here as opposed to covenant. So the pledge, that thing that you entrusted, right? That would be the mithaq. So wathaqa, yathiqu, and then wathaq or thiqa. Again, this is one of those, it's family one, so it has several masadir. Thiqa, and we've said also mithaq in this case. Ooh. Did I write mithaq? There it is. So this is mithaq. And like we said, it means pledge. Let's just go with the English pledge or covenant. Then we have yunazzilu, again, one of the very easy words to memorize. So this one you can just memorize and make sure you understand it because it comes a lot in the Quran. So this is family 2. So nazala, family 2. Nazzala yunazzilu, right? And yunazzilu would be the mudara. Nazzala yunazzilu. Tanzil. Again, remember family 2. The masdar is in the pattern taf'il. And this is it. So yunazzilu, yunazzilani, yunazziluna. And it means he sends down. But again, because it's family 2, it has certain implications. Nazala, to come down, to descend. Anzala, to make something come down. Nazzala, to also make something come down. So what is the difference between anzala and nazzala? This is where you need to understand sarf to be able to understand the meaning. So anzala, we know it's to come down once or to make something come down once, right? So it has that singular or not continuous type of implication. But nazzala, even the shadda tells you that this is something that is continuous, repeated, or it takes time to do it gradually. Also has the meaning of nazzala. So it came down gradually, step by step, or continuously. So that's the sarf implication of this word. So come down, coming down, yunazzilu, he sends down, we can even say, sends down gradually or continuously. Then you have yukhrijukum. So akhraja yukhriju. That's what we're looking for. So kharaja, and this is going to be family 4, like we've seen before. Anfaqa, we've seen amana. So we have here now akhraja. So yukhriju will be the mudari' again. And this is akhraja, yukhriju, ikhraj. Ikhraj, right? And then yukhriju, yukhrijani, yukhrijuna. Again, it's important that when I'm doing this, you can actually do the entire sarf in your head because it's taking me time to type this out. You could be doing the entire sarf, right? Just for practice. And then akhraja is to extract something. So kharaja, to come out yourself. It's lazim. I came out. Kharajtu. Kharajtu min al-manzil. I came out of the house. Kharajtu min al-makan. I came out of the place, right? I did the coming out. But akhraja, akhrajtuhu min al-bayt. I took him out of the house. So now it's muta'addi because now I'm implicating on something else. So yukhrijukum, he removes you or extracts you or takes you out from a place. So the doer is not me, the doer is somebody else. So now you can understand the implication of the family here, the aslama family, which is, it makes verbs muta'addi. So he took He takes you out because again it's mudara, takes you out of a place or whatever. Then we have ra'uf. So ra'uf comes from ra'fa, which we mentioned a little bit. So the root letters here is ra, fa, and this is family 1, and it's fataha family. So ra'afa yar'afu, right? And ra'uf is actually fa'ul, which is like ghafoor, which is like shakur. And what do you know about these names of Allah? Is that they are fi sighatil mubalagha, extremely forgiving, extremely merciful. So it's not just, so again, look at how amazing this word is. We said Rahim is yani, it has a yani, it's not just mercy, it's mercy and so many other things, right? And then Ra'uf is extreme rahma, right? And then you take that extreme rahma, you put it in the mubalagha form, it becomes extreme ra'fa. Like it's mind-blowing, subhanallah. And we will discuss these meanings in details later when we are doing that. So ra'afa, yar'afu, ra'fa would be the masdar. فهو رائف, and then of course all the way to mubalagha, which is going to be our ra'uf, right? So here, obviously, again, the Quran writes, yani, there's a way that the Quran writes. So normally the Hamza would be written on a waw, but because the Quran has its own writing style, so it doesn't follow exactly all the writing. But I'm not so sure if this is how you write. Is this an exception? Wow, sakina after it. I'm not so sure again. This is something I need to confirm the writing of this. Again, I've forgotten some of the rules when it comes to writing. But the Hamza has to be on a waw if it comes in the middle. Anyway, writing aside. So what does this mean? Again, I'm just going to say, I don't know how to translate this, to be honest. I'm gonna leave it as Ra'uf because I don't know how to translate that. It's detailed. Maybe you will see in the translations, they'll say extremely benevolent, extremely, I don't know. These words that you don't even know what it means. Like, what does benevolent mean? Yeah, no. So, subhanallah.
Extremely gracious.
Or extremely gracious. But then again,
Yeah,
gracious.
that's what- yeah.
I feel like it's so, like, I don't know how to understand it, you know? Or extremely kind. Like, kind is not even it. Kind is an element of it. There's an element of kindness to it. There's an element of mercy to it. There's an element of graciousness. There's an element of, all these elements are there, but it just doesn't capture the meaning of the word. So we will have to say all these words: extremely kind, generous, merciful, and that would be Ra'uf, right? So there's no English word equivalent to this. We just have to translate it in like a sentence. Then we have Rahim. So Rahima yarhamu. So Rahim, Rahama, and then of course this is going to be family. Rahima yarhamu, Sami'a. And again, this is a sifa mushabbaha. So Rahima yarhamu, Rahma. فهو راحم, and then of course all the way to sifa mushabbaha, which will be Rahim. Okay. Let's see what comments are here. All this word in extreme form, right? Yeah, Ra'uf is mubalagha. Yes. Yeah. So it has that element of exaggeration in them. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why like, how do you translate a word like that without like typing an entire sentence? So, and that's basically the sarf of those ayat. We have like 10 minutes. I think we can take like maybe 15 minutes and start on the next session so that we don't dwell on this part a lot. I think it would be more productive if we just start the Nahw of ayah number 10 and 12. Even if we just do half of it or whatever, something small from it. And again, guys, feel free if you have any questions, stop me and yeah, that's a good size. Okay, so we go to number ayah number 10, and Allah says, وَمَا لَكُمْ أَلَّا تُنْفِقُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلِلَّهِ مِيرَاثُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Again, this wa is harf atuf because what came before? وَمَا لَكُمْ لا تنفق لا تؤمنون ما لكم لا تؤمنون. I think let's just go back there before I mess up this ayat. What was it? I have memorized this, but subhanallah, sometimes it comes. Oh, where is it? Yeah. وما لكم لا تؤمنون بالله والرسول يدعوكم. Exactly. I just had to make sure. Okay, thank you. So وما لكم لا تؤمنون بالله والرسول يدعوكم لتؤمنوا بربكم. All right. So now this is atuf on that. You can see the similarity. ما لكم ما لكم. So it kind of, the Quran does that sometimes. It reminds you of something that came before and you're like, oh wait, something similar was said before. Perhaps there's a connection. And there is a connection, and we'll talk about that in as explanation as well. So this waw would be harf atuf to that ma lakum that came before. Now, also we talked about the i'rab of that ma, and we said that this ma is ma istifhamiyya. So ma istifhamiyya, because it's asking a question, ma lakum, and it's not just, it's serving a purpose of like tawbih, reprimanding or scolding someone, like, what is wrong with you? When I say what is wrong with you, I'm not asking you a question. I mean, I don't expect an answer. I'm questioning your judgment, right? So I'm trying to scold you. I'm trying to make you reason. So that would be the implication here. Ma lakum. And now when you're doing the i'rab of this, ma lakum, this lakum is considered the khabar or the muta'alliq bil khabar mahdhuf. So the khabar is mahdhuf, and then this lam is harf jar, and kum is ism majrur, and together they'll be muta'alliqan bi khabarin mahdhuf, right? Now whatever comes after this question, this is like an i'rab tip. Whatever comes after this question, whenever you see ma lakum, whatever comes after it is going to be the hal. All right, it's going to be the hal fi mahalli nasab. Now, the sentence that comes after it is a whole sentence. So this sentence is going to be fi mahalli nasab hal. Can we say this wow is enough? No. In this case, because it's connecting back to something before, it's not starting a new sentence. You already saw wama lakum, and then here you have wama lakum. So this wama lakum is definitely connected to the wama lakum that came before. If it was just not, there's no connection whatsoever, then you can say, okay, this is istinaf, it's a new sentence. But because there is a very apparent connection, you cannot say this is istinaf. You have to say this is atuf. It's ma'tuf to this sentence, is ma'tuf to the sentence that came before. So now we're going to say that this whole sentence that comes after it is going to be fi mahalli nasab hal. Now we've said that. Now we have to enter into that hal and see what's in there. So alla, what is alla? Alla is made up of an plus la. Right? An plus la. And then you merge them together, you have this idgham that happens, and you have alla. So we don't mention the noon. So you have alla. So that is an, harf nasab. And that's why tunfiqu is mansoob. The noon went away. Before it was ma lakum la tu'minuna. But here because of an, it's now tunfiqu. Because it's mansoob. Right? So an harf nasib, la nafi. La of negation. Yeah, like what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You do not spend. Right? So alla, that would be harf nasib, and la nafiya. I don't know how, because of space. I'm just gonna write this. Oh, Allah musta'an. What did I do? I'm just gonna nafi. So the la is nafi and the an is nasib. So, and also another important thing. Now you ask your question. If this wama lakum is connected to the wama lakum that came before, why is there an here? Why is there an extra an here? Before it was wama lakum la tu'minuna. Here is وَمَا لَكُمْ أَنْ لَا تُنْفِقُوا. What's the "an" doing here? Again, we shall answer that question when you do the explanation. So now you start to see the kind of questions when you do the i'rab, you ask yourself certain questions and you're like, why is this like this and not like this? And those are the questions that you answer when you're doing tadabbur and you're trying to figure out the ayah. Okay? So tunfiqu, it was supposed to be tunfiquna, which would be the mudara. So mudara, and the fa'il is antum. Again, because of space, I'm not writing everything that needs to be written. There's more. So this wawul jama'a basically would be considered the fa'il of tunfiqu, and so on and so forth. And we know that that's antum. Then we have fi sabilillahi here. So okay, no. So it cannot be, يعني, you can ask yourself, Akib, you can ask yourself the question, why is an there? And you can try to find out the reasons why, because there's nothing extra in the Quran, but we cannot consider this as a completely new sentence because it is connected to something before, right? So a new sentence grammatically is a sentence that is not connected to anything before. So for example, if I'm looking at a sentence and there's فعل, فاعل, مفعول به, صفة, بدل, حرف عطف, اسم معطوف, this whole thing is still connected. I haven't reached the end of that sentence. So once I reach the end of that sentence where I cannot find anything that connects back, then that is the end of the sentence. But for as long as I can go back and find a connection to what is previous, then those two things are connected in that sense. Yeah, well, that's a good point, a good observation. Okay, great. So في سبيل الله, again, في حرف جار, اسم مجرور, so this is going to be متعلقان. It doesn't matter. Look, ayat do not signify sentences. This is something you need to understand. Ayat do not signify sentences. You can have 10 ayat, one sentence. You can have part of an ayah, one sentence. Like, so a jumla is not equivalent to an ayah. An ayah is how the surah is organized, how the Quran is organized. But as far as jumlas, as far as sentences are concerned, then you have to just look at where the end of the sentence is, where the full stop is, in a sense. But the ayah does not signify the end of the sentence, it does not signify a full stop. So that's an important thing. So you can see like the ayahs are connected one to the next is just one sentence going on. But it doesn't mean that when you see the end of the ayah, that's the end of the sentence. So that's an important observation when you're studying this ayat. It's about belief, and this one is about deeds. Yes, spending. So yeah, we will discuss this when we're doing the explanation. What is the significance of Iman and spending, which is a recurring theme in Surah Al-Hadid, and also something we saw a little bit in Surah Taghabun. So what is the relationship between Iman and spending, and why is spending being mentioned here as well? And regarding the timeline of revelation, why is spending being mentioned? So في سبيل الله would be متعلقان here. And of course, sabili is mudaf. No al on it, you can see it's nakira, and it doesn't have tanween. So al-lafz al-jalala here would be the mudaf ilay, right? So that's a pretty simple i'rab. There's nothing complicated happening there. Wow. So وَلِلَّهِ مِيرَاثُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So this is wow followed by a jumla ismiya. How did I know that it was a jumla ismiya? So I look at the sentence. So there's wow, and then after it, there's a jar majroor. When I see a jar majroor, I don't know what kind of a sentence it is. I have to look forward, ahead. I have to see, is there a fi'al coming? Is there an ism coming? What's happening? So I look ahead and I see an ism. So this tells me this is a jumla ismiya. So now because I know it's a jumla ismiya, a wow followed by a jumla ismiya, this wow means this wow is going to be wow haliya, right? So this is the wow of hal. So it's going to make this sentence a hal. So my phone just changed for some reason, but we'll just maintain it. Oopsie. So that's going to be wow haliya. right? And then you have lam harfu jar and al-lafdul jalala isim majroor. So together they're muta'alliqani. But muta'alliqani to what? Because sometimes jar isim majroor, jar and isim majroor, they come before. And then when you look at it, like we said, it's a jumla ismiya. So this is going to be muta'alliqani bil khabar muqaddam. So again, whenever you see a muta'alliqani bil khabar muqaddam, that already sends your bells ringing in your head. You're thinking, oh, there's some takhsis happening here. There's some special case happening here, right? So that already informs your reflection. So this متعلقان بالخبر مقدم, and then you have ميراث السماوات والأرض. So you see this is the first رفع. So this is become مبتدا وهو مضاف. مبتدا مضاف. Because you can see السماوات is the مضاف إليه. And then you have واو حرف عطف. And that means that الأرض here is اسم معطوف. So عطف. And I'm going to say اسم معطوف. There we go. All right. All right. So I think I'm just I'm gonna do until maybe this endpoint. Let's see. And that would be we can stop there inshallah. So لا يستوي. لا حرف نفي. We know this. It negates, حرف of negation. So we say حرف نفي, we move on. يستوي. يستوي. استوى. يستوي. استواء. So this is مضارع. So again, you can relate it to استغفر. يستغفر. استغفار. مضارع, and we shall do the sarf later on. So يستوي and the فاعل is هو. Now هو, whenever we have the فعل and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو, then we can look ahead and see if we see a فاعل, right? That's like our thought process. Then we look ahead, we see منكم. منكم is a jar majroor, okay? So this jar majroor, I'm going to leave it for a second. We're going to come back to this jar majroor because it's going to be something else, right? Then I see man. لا يستوي من. This man is اسم موصول, but what role is it playing? Exactly, عاقب. Man would be the فاعل here of لا يستوي. In other words, لا يستوي من أنفق. Okay, so now that we figured out this, and of course, whatever comes after it, this sentence is going to be the silatul mawsul, right? So then you have minkum. So what is this minkum? لا يستوي minkum. You could say it's, متعلق to يستوي, but it won't make any sense. It makes more sense as a hal. I'm going to explain that because I know it's going to be a little bit confusing. The way you look at this is that لا يستوي من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل منكم. Like we talked about last time and we said جاء الرجل منكم. The man from amongst you came. This from amongst you, it's not متعلق, it's a hal of you guys. It is representing you guys. So in the same case, this منكم is from man. Man minkum. Someone from among you. So it is a hal of you, right? So that's kind of like how you look at it. Because if it wasn't here muqaddam, it will be all the way to the end of the sentence. لا يستوي من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل منكم. Right? So it will be all the way there. Because you cannot separate an isim mawsul and its sila. So that's kind of like how you just understand the sentence. So here minkum would be a hal, or some grammarians will look at it as muta'alliq to a mahdhuf hal. So either way, whether you say it's a hal or muta'alliq to a mahdhuf hal, in other words, it's just related to a hal. So it's showing your state, right? Can we say this minkum as muta'alliq bil fi'l? No. It's not muta'alliq to a fi'l, it's muta'alliq to a hal. So لا يستوي من أنفق منكم. It's not لا يستوي منكم. So it's more related to the fa'il than it's more, you can say متعلق to the fa'il. That would be more accurate than, because it's not related to the fi'il of istiwa. It's not related to the fi'il of sameness. It is related to you, minkum. right? From you. So it is related to the fa'il. As we say, among you not equal. Yeah, so among you. So you can see it's not related to equal as such or being equal. It is related to you. So it is related to the hal of the fa'il man. So that's kind of like how you look at the connection. So you can say, yeah, it is the idea of muta'alliq is to identify what it is muta'alliq to. Where's the relationship? Is it relationship to the fi'l? That's where you say muta'alliq bil fi'l. Is it related to the khabar? You say muta'alliq bil khabar. If it's related to, like in this case, it's related to the fa'il, then you can say muta'alliq bil fa'il, but of course that term is not used. So it's muta'alliq to a hal, and this hal is related to man, the fa'il. Yes, muta'alliq to a hal. You see, okay, this is something perhaps I know in Bayina we learned muta'alliq as either muta'alliq to a fi'l or muta'alliq to a khabar. That's how we understood muta'alliq. But muta'alliq just means connected to. It doesn't mean that those are the only places where a jar majrur can be connected. It can be connected to a fi'l, it can be connected to an ism, it can be connected to a maf'ul bihi. And if you've taken some of my classes of Ta'bir al-Qur'ani, you have seen this, where you have a jar majrur that is connected to something else, a sifa, or it's connected to something else. So muta'alliq just means connected to. Just like ism ishara and musharun ilay. Musharun ilay is not a grammatical labeling. It's saying that this is what is being pointed to. For example, if I say hada kitab, I am pointing to a book. So the thing that is being pointed to, the musharun ilay, is a book. It could be anything, it could be something else, right? So those words, Yani, you have to also understand the meaning of it for you to be able to make connection. And I know that this is a very difficult concept to understand, especially because we know jar majroor is muta'alliq to khabar or muta'alliq to fi'l. And we are used to that concept. So whenever we are discussing muta'alliq bil khabar or muta'alliq bil fi'l, Arshi knows what I'm talking about. It becomes very difficult to see what is it muta'alliq to. And in this case, it's actually muta'alliq to man, muqaddam, came before. Right? Yeah, it's gonna take some time to understand that. Yeah. It takes a lot of practice to get this. It's muta'alliq to a hal that is mahdhuf. You can understand it that way. Yeah, that would make more sense. So of course we said man is a fa'il here. And where am I? So it's a fa'il here. And of course, anfaqa, this jumla begins the silatul mawsul to man. And inside that silatul mawsul, you have anfaqa, which will be the fi'al madi, like we did before the sarf of it. So anfaqa yunfiqu infaq. Anfaqa, and the fa'il is damir mustatir huwa, which goes back to man. So normally people would ask, where's the a'id here? And just maybe as a reminder, the a'id could be outside, independent, could be attached, could be inside, could be implied. And in this case, it is implied. So this is the a'id. It's the inside pronoun. It is implied. So it goes back to man, right? Just a crash course on silatul mawsul. Okay, man anfaqa. The fa'il is huwa min harf jar. Qabli ism majroor. And again, qabli, because qabli came as a mudaf, it's taking on a kasra. Like the next ayah, look, min ba'du, because it doesn't have a mudaf ilay, it took on a dhamma. I'm going ahead of myself, but this is something probably we'll talk about next time, but I just wanted to elaborate that fact. Then here, min qabli, because it has a mudaf ilayhi, so al-fathi is a mudaf ilayhi, it takes on a kasra. Okay, so min qabli is min harf jar, qabli ism majroor, al-fathi mudaf ilayh. That's such a long thing to write. I don't know, the space is not enough, but maybe I could just write majroor plus mudaf ilayh. Hopefully. Okay. Wow, harf ataf. Now, whenever you have harf ataf, you have to ask yourself, what is it connecting back to? And like we talked when we discussed حروف عطف, we said you connect an ism to an ism. You connect a fi'l to a fi'l, right? You cannot say a banana and I slept. What is that? Does it make sense? I walked, then I slept. I ate, then I slept, right? Or you cannot say, I slept and a cow. What? I slept or a cow. I slept, but a cow. It doesn't make sense, right? So you connect a fi'al with a fi'al, an ism with an ism. So in this case, we have قاتل. قاتل is family 3. جاهد. It's a fi'al. So we look at what fi'al is there. You see, you have أنفق. So أنفق وقاتل. So this من قبل الفتح, now you can say this is متعلق to أنفق because now it's connected to أنفق, right? And then قاتل is connected to أنفق in that it is an ism معطوف to أنفق, right? So just to complete that, I'm going to say معطوف, اسم معطوف. Then hopefully the space is enough, yeah. And I think that we can stop there, inshallah. So next week, we'll probably be doing the explanation of some of the ayats from where we stopped. And then the week after that, we'll come back to the Nahw and the Sarf. So we will start from Ulaika. Oh, we have quite a bit to go. And all the way, and the Sarf as well. All right, and in case there's any question, guys, please again, feel free. Or if you have any comments or clarifications, yeah, just have an open mind that muta'alliq can be muta'alliq to anything. That's a very important lesson that I learned for myself. And it will make grammar, understanding grammar and books of other books very, very easy. I think once I understood this, Ta'bir al-Qur'ani, the book, became very, very easy because there's a lot of muta'alliq in that book. And most of it is actually muqaddam. So yeah. It's no problem, Aqib. Jazakallah khair for joining us. Don't worry. If you want to participate again, I welcome it. Normally, I prefer like a student or somebody comes in and they do the grammar with me. So if you can be able to do that, fantastic. But next week, we will do the explanation, not the grammar. Then the week after that is where we will come back to the grammar, inshallah. All right, no worries. Practice the sarf. And let me know if you have any other questions. You can ask them in the chat, in the group as well. So next week, we are doing the explanation. I have to confirm where we stopped. I'm not so sure. Because again, the explanation is taking quite long. SubhanAllah. There's so much detail, so much beautiful gems from this surah.
I think it's from
So-
Ayah 7.
Yes, from Ayah 7.
Yes, sure.
Thank you, Shabana, for that. Yeah, so from Ayah 7 until time comes and whatever we stop is where we stop. I don't rush it. So Ayah 7 onwards. Maybe we'll do like 7 to 9. Maybe we'll just do 2 ayat if we are lucky, inshallah. We'll see. All right. Okay, there's no other question or clarifications or anything else. We can stop there. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I will see you guys next week inshallah. السلام عليكم.
Had a great time with you learning.
الحمد لله.